Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for choosing Across the Fence. I'm Mikell. Our focus today is a statewide program that engages and excites thousands of Vermont school kids every year. It's the 4-H Embryology program. Embryology is a school enrichment program that fosters life skills education through public, private, and home schools. And because it's a 4-H program, there's an emphasis on hands-on learning. To find out what's happening in the embryology program, Keith Silva visited a school in Lamoille County.
Most of the students in Miss Michelle's pre-K class at Stowe Elementary agree the best part of the day is either recess or lunch. But today, they're willing to make an exception.
Look at the kind of eggs that the snakes hatch.
What are you doing today?
Looking at baby chicks. I was excited to hold them. They like to play and run around.
These 3, 4, and 5-year-olds have been counting the days, all 21 of them, until the chicks hatch.
They broke out of the egg, and we had to keep them in the incubator. And when all the yolk was dried out, we could put them in the container and hold them. They don't have that much hair, and they're wet. Because when they first came out, their little beaks were tinier.
I've had baby chicks in my house.
The UVM Extension 4-H Embryology Project is a springtime rite of passage for students of all ages in Vermont. Using hands-on learning, students investigate the life cycle of a chicken, from fertile egg to fully developed chick. Martha Manning directs the program.
When we work with kids that are this young, preschool kids, this is an introduction to them to STEM. Okay, so you've got the science, the math. They're recording data. They know that the temperature in that incubator needs to be around 100 degrees. They learn to count, how many days is it going to take that egg in the incubator for that chick to develop inside that egg. They're learning, simple observation, science skills that hopefully, with young kids, will keep them involved in science.
Right?
Michelle Netto sees the 4-H Embryology Project as a way to reinforce key concepts of early learning, like letters and numbers.
Do you think for this age, it's hard to understand what time looks like? We do a lot of calendar work, day-to-day stuff. They would check the incubator every single day and say, I think it's moving, I think they're hatching. But the idea of 21 days and what does that look like to them was, a big concept I think we took away from it.
As the class studied the life cycle of chickens, Netto read chicken-centric stories, and the children practiced being patient. And when the big day arrived, the video speaks for itself.
So we want to stay calm. I like how Ethan's sitting calmly, and he's just allowing her to be there. Remember, just like him. Or him, that's right, we're not sure. Just sit back on your spot.
Getting to hold the chicks is the epitome of learning by doing.
Your hand and put it tighter, don't you?
Even when Mother Nature calls.
And drink.
I think one of them went to the bathroom. What did you think about that?
Funny.
It was funny when it went to the bathroom? Why?
Because it was green.
Okay. Was it gross or was it just normal?
Gross.
When you were holding the chick, what was that like?
It feels like there was a rock on my hand.
A rock?
A little one.
A little one. A fuzzy rock or a hard rock?
Fuzzy.
It's this kind of literal, hands-on learning that Netto and Manning believe sets this project apart from other approaches to learning.
It's not just looking at a picture of an egg and then looking at a picture of an embryo in a book or on a computer. We're in a society that's, in many cases, generations removed from the farm. For a lot of these students, they never have the opportunity to, observe an incubator or actually witness, the egg tooth chipping away at the egg for that chicken to come out.
They can think about things, but this is actually living in their hands, and they're feeling it, and they're hearing it. I mean, it really grasps all of our senses. The more we can give them, the more that they take in and learn, I think, from those real-life experiences.
It doesn't get much more real or fluffy or cute than the 4-H Embryology Project.
Tyler, would you like
In Stowe, I'm Keith Silva with Across the Fence.
And our thanks to Ms. Nadeau and her students at the Stowe School. Now, if you're a teacher, student, or parent who's interested in the 4-H embryology program, then we want you to sit up and pay attention, because joining me now is Martha Manning. Martha, as we saw in the video, is the statewide coordinator of the UVM Extension 4-H embryology program. Thanks for being with us again on Across the Fence.
Thank you for having me.
The 2019 program is about to get underway, and let's just cut to the chase. If someone's interested, what do they need to do?
They would need to contact me at the UVM Extension office in St. Albans, and they can call 802-524-6502, extension 449, or if you prefer email, martha.manning@uvm.edu.
Martha, the example that we saw in the video with Keith was an in-school program, and you tell me there are other ways that 4-H delivers this program.
Yes, so it's really a program that can be delivered either as a school enrichment program, part of an in-school program. It can be part of an after-school program. It is offered in some daycares in Vermont, and it is also offered as part of a homeschool curriculum for many families throughout the state.
Now, I know the kids don't necessarily think of it this way, but the focus is on more than science. This is a multidisciplinary approach through education and hands-on. Tell us a little bit more about that aspect.
So we see teachers approach the program in a multitude of ways. We see teachers incorporating it into journaling and writing. And for the young children, the really young children, they may scribe to someone who writes in a journal for them, and then they draw pictures to accompany those entries. Older kids do their own journaling. We see it as part of literature, whether it's factual books or fiction books, and there's books for all ages, so it can be incorporated into literacy and English. And of course, we've got the math and the science.
So the math, the science, the record keeping, that's obvious. I really get a kick out of some of the artwork. It's fascinating and a great connection. And before we got started, you told me you brought in some examples of some of the literature aspects for all ages. It is not just the preschool stuff. This stuff goes all the way through, and there's lots of different examples of literacy connecting with science.
Right, so we've got, the fiction book, Dora's Eggs, but there's also many factual books with some outstanding photos like from inside an egg as if you were candling it. And so, no matter whether the child can read or someone enjoys reading to them. But then for older people, you've got your books all about how to raise chickens, how to hatch and incubate, through your public library, your school library, or, there's always the local bookstores. There's just an endless supply of books about poultry, chickens, ducks, and some teachers incorporate, any type of egg, so they may, it's a spring, frog eggs, you got turtle eggs, and it's all about learning about eggs and different methods of hatching.
You're reminding me that a lot of the focus is on the chicks, and that's the cool part. That's the kids can, but so much of the education, the candling, all of these things are occurring while it's in the incubator. The time and all of that. So there's a lot that's taking place before those chicks are hatched.
Whether you call it magic or science, to be able for a student to see inside an egg that's encased in a shell can be pretty amazing. And when they can observe that developing embryo, it really can spark their interest in many areas of science.
Martha, how do you assess the program? After it's been around for a long time, how do you know it works, though?
Well, the most amazing thing is talking to students and teachers who have been through the program, and it may be years later, they can still tell you the parts of an egg, and that it's not an egg white, it's the albumin, and that they know what a chalaza is in an egg. So, just speaking to people outside of a formal evaluation, which you can do right at the end of a program, but there's many ways to evaluate the program, and just talking to people and knowing, that back when they were in first grade and in Mrs. So-and-so's classroom, they hatched chicks, and they remember.
I remember it well. Williston Central School, absolutely. Everybody always asks, what happens to the chicks after they hatch, after they're in the classroom? What happens next?
So we have farms that will take those chicks. Normally we offer meat-type eggs, and some of those even end up in some of the local food pantries to feed fellow Vermonters who are in need. This year we're also offering some egg-laying birds that come out of Yukon, and so they can be providing eggs for families throughout Vermont. Schools have the option to return those chicks to us, and then we, as people at UVM Extension, it's up to us to find homes for them.
The eggs, the incubator, the curriculum, who supplies those things, Martha?
The incubators belong to the schools. I do have a few that I lend out. The eggs are purchased by the schools or the whatever the group is that's doing the project, and so we provide them with the support through the project, but they basically own their own equipment.
Before we run out of time, quickly remind our viewers how they can get information, because if this is something you want to do in a homeschool program, if you're a teacher and you want to bring it in, if you want to have it as an after-school program, they need to get in touch with you very soon.
Yes, because orders are due by the 1st of April.
So walk through that contact information again.
Contact me at UVM Extension in St. Albans at 802-524-6501, extension 449, and it's Martha, M-A-R-T-H-A .Manning, M-A-N-N-I-N-G, at uvm.edu.
Martha, always a pleasure to visit with you. I love this program, and I was serious. It goes back to the 1960s, but I remember it well at Williston Central. Great memories and a great program.
Thank you.
Thanks for being with us. That is our program for today. We know you have choices, so thanks for choosing us. I'm Will Mikell, inviting you to join us back here each weekday afternoon for another visit Across the Fence.